Welcome back to the Green Means Go channel. It's your host, me. Today on the channel, we are going to be breaking down the knockout round and beyond of the FIFA Women's World Cup, filling out the brackets, talking about the games, and some picks that we like on the channel. First game of the knockout round starts on Saturday in the very, very early morning hours, and it will continue throughout Saturday and Sunday. So let's flip on over to the bracket and take a look at some of these games. Thankfully, FanDuel has put together this nice bracket for us, breaking down all of the matchups, and they've also included the overall odds for that team to win the entire FIFA World Cup. So right now you see England here on this side over here, sitting at 270. They are the favorites, which I think is interesting given the injury that they just had. We'll talk about that in a second. Spain at 470 and the United States at 470. Then we got a pretty decent jump to France at 650, Japan and the Netherlands at 9-1, and then outside of that, Australia, the host, at 10-1, and everybody else is a pretty big long shot. So we'll start up here with Switzerland and Spain, and we'll just move along here. I do like Spain in this one, although they looked bad against Japan, allowing 4 or 5 goals in a game that didn't matter, but still a little worrisome for the second favorite on the card. Netherlands and South Africa. The Netherlands has looked great this World Cup. And I'm honestly keeping my eye on them because I think that they gave the U.S. enough problems that they gained a lot of confidence. It was a 1-1 draw in that game, but truth be told, the Netherlands looked better than the United States did. A lot of wind in that game, which played a factor in how the halves looked, but the Netherlands certainly looked better against Vietnam than the United States looked against Vietnam. So, if we want to compare equal opponents, I'm pretty impressed with this Netherlands team. Japan has looked probably the best overall in this tournament, beating Spain 4-0 in the last round of the group stage, or the last game of the group stage. So I do think they handled Norway pretty easily here. Here we go. All right. Are you guys ready? And I'm going to apologize right now to all my American friends and family, but they don't have it. And I am taking Sweden in this game to upset the United States. This is a bet that I will be placing just as is, as an isolated event. The United States has looked bad, and I don't know how the market has not adjusted. I just think the market is wrong, or there's so much money on the United States, they cannot inflate the. I don't know what the deal is, but if anybody has watched the United States, they know that things are not going well. And Sweden has not been slouching. Sweden has looked good. If we take a look at their games, they beat Argentina 2-0, Italy 5-0, and South Africa 2-1. They only allowed 1 goal in the group stage, so their defense is holding up and their offense is working. And I just don't see United States without Rose Lavelle competing enough with this team to be as big of a favorite as they are. So with all that being said, I do like Sweden to win this game outright, and I do think they draw a tough opponent in Japan, but that is to say that this side of the bracket is nuts. Spain, Netherlands, USA, Sweden, Japan, all on this side is a bit unlucky for the teams over here. This side is much easier on paper. So these guys got kind of a bad draw with how everything shook out in the group stage. Flipping over to this side of the bracket, Australia is the host of this tournament. They're playing Denmark. Australia is the favorite, but I actually like an upset in this game. Denmark has played England in the first round, lost only 1-0 after allowing a goal in the first 6 minutes. They held strong, and they beat China and Haiti in their other 2 games, whereas Australia loses to Nigeria, one of the biggest upsets of the tournament, and has not looked convincing outside of any of that. Denmark has a realistic shot to beat Australia, and it's definitely one I'm keeping my eye on. Moving down here to France, I do think they're the strongest team on this side. And, this is Morocco's first trip past the group stage, I believe, in history. I do think France gets this done, and it may be the most lopsided win on any of these first-round games. Moving down here to England and Nigeria, I do like England to get this done, but I am worried about this team. One of their best midfielders, and probably one of the best midfielders in the world. Kiara Walsh goes down with a knee injury in their game against Denmark and is likely not going to be back. So I do think they get past Nigeria, but I'm not looking for them to make the deep run that FanDuel and everyone else seems to think they'll be making. Jamaica, what can you say about Jamaica? They have looked awesome in terms of expectations. If we go over here, they did win, but they drew twice. They have not allowed a goal in the World Cup. Okay, so Japan, Switzerland, and Jamaica are the only teams that have not allowed goals in the group stage, which, you know, needs to be mentioned. It needs to be said. So Colombia has not looked good either. I realized their last loss was kind of irrelevant just because they didn't need a win. They didn't need a result to move on. But I actually like Jamaica here in an upset. I think they are confident. I think they know the style of play that they want to play. And I think it sets up well for, at worst, a battle of PKs at the end. So I like Jamaica here. I'll ride the dream, and we'll roll with them over Colombia. Moving back here, this is probably the toughest pick on the semifinals for me, or I guess the quarterfinals for me. But I am truly going to go with the Netherlands in this game. I think the Netherlands have the recipe in that they watched Japan take them down and take them down easily. And I think the Netherlands are a team of veteran, experienced players that will be able to come in and show Spain a thing or two and actually end up winning this game. So I think there's a good opportunity we see the Netherlands in the semifinals versus Japan. Again, another tough game. I can certainly see Sweden winning this game, but let's say the United States does do what they're supposed to. They get back on track and they win. I think Japan has the more reasonable shot. So you could say this is kind of hedging my Sweden bet here a little bit, that if the United States does pull it off, Japan moves on here. So we have a Netherlands-Japan matchup on this side for the semifinals. And over here, I'm going to roll chalk, and we're going to go with France beating Denmark. And I'm going to do it again. I'm going to go with England. I'm not going to lie. I was tempted to take Jamaica in this game. And I think the bet for this game, should this be the matchup, is the under. I'm thinking in regular time, no more than 2 goals. I can see England struggling. I can see Jamaica playing back, playing on defense, which is what they've done this whole tournament. And I can see this game going to penalty kicks. So I'm going to take England in the experience overall in this. But don't be surprised if Jamaica does something that shocks the world. In this game, moving on, Japan just looks so strong, and they've convinced me enough that I think that they come in strong against the Netherlands, and I think they win another low-scoring, hard-fought game. And over here, England's injuries I think are too much, and so I do like France to beat the English women and head to the finals for a final matchup of Japan and France with your winner. And this is tough, and I don't have it typed in because I wanted you guys to watch it live. We are going to go with Japan as our World Cup champion. I think they are playing with insane chemistry, and I think they have the recipe for what it takes to win a World Cup, and I think they get it done. So that is our final bracket. Apologize, I typed it in and my big head was in the way. So that's what we're rolling with. As always, I appreciate you guys stopping by. Go ahead and drop comments what you think is going to happen. Make your predictions down below in the chat. I'd love to talk with some of you about it. Take care, and we will see you next time on the Green Beans Go channel.